Programs normally scheduled for this time will not be seen in order that we may bring you the following ABC Sports Special.
Ohio on the par 5, 16th hole here at Wingfoot. She is 21 over par, out of contention, but she is putting for a birdie 4, looping in and out. Her playing partner today, Kathy Ahern, from Denton, Texas, is 12 over and has an opportunity to pick up one more shot. And if she can birdie the hole, she'll be one stroke away from the current leader, Pam Barnett, who has bogeyed the last 3 holes, 8, 9, and 10. Sue Roberts of Columbus, Ohio, here at the Ladies Open, the 20th event, conducted by the United States Golf Association to remain 21 over. Now, a big putt at the 16th green here at Wingfoot for Kathy Ahern of Denton, Texas. If she makes it, she'll be in a 4-way tie for second. At one time, there was a 5-stroke lead today. It has dwindled down to 1. And we have a 4-way tie for second place. Only one shot, a quartet of lovely lady golfers here at Wingfoot, away from the current leader, Pam Barnett, who is 10 over par, the quartet at 11 over par. What a tournament, as she held that much of a lead, 4 strokes, but at 8, 9, and 10 here at Wingfoot in Mamaroneck, New York, her lead has been cut to 1 because of her ability to par or better these very, very tough holes. And we have some tough finishing holes here at one of the great courses in the entire world. Hello, I'm Chris Schenkel. And for the next 90 minutes, the conclusion of the 20th United States Golf Association Women's Open. Now, if there is a playoff, we'll be back with you tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Daylight Time. You know, there's another sports story today, and that's the World Championship chess match with controversial Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky of Russia, which was to begin today in Iceland. ABC's own Bill Fleming is up there, and momentarily we'll be talking with Bill live from Reykjavik, Iceland. But here at Wingfoot, the championship did get started on schedule Thursday. It was an overcast day, but no rain fell. Shirley Engelhorn managed to par 72, the low score for the day, and it gave her the lead. The East Course here at Wingfoot, 6,226 yards long, was described by some USGA officials as almost too tough for women. As only one at par of the 150 starters, Miss Engelhorn said she was slightly overcome to be ahead in this major championship after a 12-month absence from tournament golf. Well, again, Friday it was overcast here in Westchester County, but rain did fall, and it halted play for 95 minutes. And finally, darkness stranded 17 ladies still out on the course. The USGA announced that they would have to finish that round on Saturday morning. Well, the eventual cutoff after 36 holes for the low 50 and ties came at 161, and Shirley Engelhorn of California at 147 had a 1-shot lead over Gloria Ehret. Now, the third round was blessed with sun intermittently showing through, but the only other par round of the tournament was by Kathy Whitworth. Get this, Kathy Whitworth has won 60 tournaments, but never the United States Open for women. Shirley Engelhorn suffered an 82, and the lead after 54 holes belonged to Pam Barnett with a 224 or 8 over par. Well, our touring colleague, who has never been 8 over par in his life, can possibly tell us why the scores are so high.
Well, I've been 8 over par too, Chris, but I tell you, this course, even though it only measured 6,226 yards long, because of all the dampness and the rain that's fell in this area over the last few days, played extremely long. And really, I've been out watching the girls playing. The ball would just hit and bounce back instead of having any roll at all. So I would like to bring in Miss Sharon Moran, who is working with us, a lady from the PGA, Ladies PGA Tour, a very well-known young lady and a beautiful young lady, and see what her opinion is about this course. Sharon, what do you have to say about it?
Well, Byron, you're so right about the course playing very long. Wingfoot is a great test of golf, but the rain that's come down has just made it a tremendous challenge for the girls. I know they mentioned that the play had been delayed on Friday, and I know a couple of us were sitting around and someone said, well, here we are at the Open being played at Webfoot, and everybody got a chuckle out of that. But it's playing very difficult. The rough is particularly long because they can't get the mowers in to get it down, and it's really making the course play tough.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, Sharon is easy to look at. You're watching ABC's exclusive color coverage of the Women's Open Golf Championship here at Wingfoot. We'll return to the action after this message. There are 9 amateurs in this field following the cut that came at 161, following 36 holes. An amateur has never won the Ladies United States Open. But there are just some great golfers here. There are all shapes, all sizes, and there are some beautiful young ladies, as you will see. Now, here's the green at the 200-yard 17th, a par 3. And Kathy Ahern, who picked up a shot at 16 with a birdie 4 on that par 5 hole, would like to do it here and go into a tie with Pam Barnett. Kathy Ahern at 11 over. She is playing along with Sue Roberts of Columbus, Ohio. Let's watch the little Texas gal. Par 3 hole. We'll just see Kathy's tee shot and pick up her next shot a little bit later on. And she has found the green, the tee to the cup, 200 yards. And there is all carry there. And it's the only hole on this East course that does not have a sand bunker. In fact, this is just a tremendous course, and as we pointed out, perhaps too tough for women. We'd like to show you what it looks like in its entirety, 1 through 18. We have a graphic which will show you the layout a little bit later on, but our commentators behind the 15th green are Frank Gifford and Dave Marr.
Thank you, Chris. Frank Gifford, along with former PGA champion Dave Marr, and for 3 years an assistant pro under Claude Harmon here at Winged Foot. He'll be covering 15 along with myself. He'll also be out on the golf course. And David, 15 is a short par 4. It can be a birdie hole, but it can be difficult.
Well, it's a very good par 4. Actually, most of the ladies, I think, will be trying to drive in this area here, and they'll be using a driver. Some of the longer hitters may use a 3-wood off the tee, and then they'll have about a 130-yard shot to the green. You try not to go over this green because it's elevated. Both traps are deep traps, and it's a pretty good hole.
330 yards long, and this again is 15. Now we move over to the par 5 16, and Bud Palmer and Sharon Moran.
Right you are, Frank. Sharon Moran's one of the best chippers and putters on the tour, and unfortunately, Sharon, you did not make the cut here, but you have played this hole in the first 2 rounds. What's it like for the girls?
Well, Bud, the 16th hole is the last chance that the girls really have to make a birdie and maybe pick up a stroke on the field. As you can see here, there are a few things to watch out for. That trap on the right, the fairway, slants that way, so it's best to be left center. Now, the next shot they have coming up, many of the girls are playing short because that space between the traps is only 51 feet wide. And then there'll be some that the longer hitters that may go for it and try to reach that top section up there in front of the green.
Well, thank you very much, Sharon. Now let's go to Chris Schenkel and Byron Nelson.
Byron and I will be covering the par 3 17th and the par 4 18th. And Byron, you can't relax on either hole.
No, you can't relax anywhere on this course, but especially the 17th and 18th hole. The 17th hole is one of the great par 3s on this entire 18 holes. As you see here, it's 200 yards long. It means that the girls, most of them will be using wooden clubs. Only a few of them probably be able to reach it with an iron. This green is a very elevated green. That, of course, would be the ideal place to put the ball if you possibly could, because the green is completely surrounded by this little valley, so to speak. The green way up in the air makes it very difficult to stay on it. And as you see, the problems that the girls have had on this hole, only 5 birdies. Well, the 18th hole is not a real long finishing hole, but a lot of problems. That's where you should drive the ball, and there's a lot of trees on the left and right, and then, of course, the green has a narrow opening guarded by 2 tremendous bunkers, left and right side of this finishing home hole.
And the green just set before a very impressive clubhouse here at Wingfoot. Well, here we are at the 17th green. Kathy Ahern, Byron Nelson. She has a long putt here, talking with her very young caddy.
Well,
And,
you know,
she birdied the last hole to pull within 1.
she's been playing quite steadily all the way through the tournament, and these scores, don't let these scores mislead you, because these girls have been playing very well. It's been a most difficult condition under which they have had to play. Kathy has been a strong player, and I've talked to some of the girls, and they said she'd been coming along real strong recently.
5 feet 8 inches tall. She was born in Pittsburgh, lived in Arizona. now playing out of Denton, Texas. She won the Texas State Women's Public Links Championship in '64. Here's her putt for a 2 on the par 3 17th hole, and now, Byron, she's going to really have to work over that putt to save par.
Right. You know, this has been one of the things here all week, even though the greens have been in excellent condition considering everything. Matter of fact, they are excellent, period. But the girls have been having trouble with their short putts, and she certainly doesn't have an easy one left.
And Sue Roberts, who is in the twosome here in the final round of the United States Ladies Open, 21 over par, and she is lining up her second stroke on this par 3 17th hole.
This is one of those greens, as our diagram showed you, that is highly elevated. If you miss this green, it's just next to impossible to get the ball close enough to the hole to have an easy 3. You might make a 3 by making a good putt, but you can't even see the green from all around it because of the valley like that's all the way around this green except right in front. It's a small green, too, and shooting at it with a wood from 200 yards away makes it very difficult.
From Columbus, Ohio, a blue-eyed blonde in her 4th year on the tour. This is for a 2. Can do much better than that.
I don't know how.
And that puts her 20 over par, or 10 shots away from the lead. But now here is the big putt for Kathy Ahern, who must make it to remain 11 over and 1 shot out of the lead.
Chris, starting this round, there had only been 5 birdies in the other 3 rounds total on this most difficult par 3.
And one of the 5 birdies was made by our spotter, Carla Glasgow of California. To stay in second, she must make this putt. Kathy Ahern. Oh, tough break. So with this tap in, she'll go back to 12 over par, or 2 shots away from the lead, leaving it now a 2-way tie for second between Betty Byrne-Find and Susie Maxwell Berning. Pam Barnett continues to lead at 10 over par. Out at 15, let's join Frank Gifford.
And we watch the tee shot of Susan Berning here at 15, 330 yards. Sue Berning, 1 shot off the lead of Pam Barrett. And Miss Berning is at a fine tee shot here at 15. As you look down the fairway, water guarding the elevated green. And from Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York, this is the Women's Open Golf Championship. We'll return after this message.
94 professionals and 56 amateurs made up the starting field on Thursday here at Wingfoot. Tour veterans, new professional stars, and amateurs alike compete in this open field. We thought you might enjoy meeting some of these fine lady golfers. First, the veteran stars who have helped establish the women's tour. Mickey Wright, one of the greatest of all women golfers, winner of a total of 81 women's tour events. She is trying for her 5th Open. Carol Mann, winner of 2 tour events so far this year, has been a leading money winner on the ladies' tour over the last 5 years. She won $49,152 in 1969 for a record. Kathy Whitworth, the all-time leading money winner on the tour, was named Player of the Year in 1971 for the 5th time. Marlene Hagee, in her 22nd year as a professional, already has a victory this season in the Burdine Invitational. Sandra Haney, ranked 5th in all-time money winnings, was Player of the Year in 1970. Judy Rankin, who turned professional in 1962 at the age of 17. Now, some of the rising young stars on the ladies' tour. Pam Higgins, in her 4th year, is currently ranked 20th in money winnings. Jane Blaylock, the leading money winner on the ladies' tour with over $38,000, has already won 2 tour events. Jane is in her 4th year as a professional. Betty Burfine, presently 4th in this year's money winnings, has 2 tournament victories this season. Gloria Errett, after a slow year in 1971, has come back strong to rank 18th on current winnings list. Sandra Palmer, the mini-pro who won her first tournament last year and followed that up recently with a victory in the Title Holders Championship. Pam Barnett from Charlotte, North Carolina, capped her best year on the tour in 1971 with a victory in the Southgate Open. Donna Capone Young, a professional since 1961, is a 2-time winner of the Women's Open in 1969 and 1970. Betsy Cullen, after 7 years on the tour, has consistently improved her game and won the Sears Women's World Classic earlier this year. And here are some of the top amateurs. Barbara McIntyre, runner-up in the 1956 Women's Open, has had a distinguished career as one of America's finest amateurs. Laura Baugh, at 17, is the youngest women's amateur champion. This pretty Californian is one of her most promising lady golfers. Hollis Stacy from Savannah, Georgia, is at 18, a 3-time United States Girls Junior champion. Yes, the finest women golfers in the world are competing here at Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York, in Westchester County. ABC's color coverage continues in a moment.
This is Sue Berning looking over a putt of about 45 feet on the 15th green. Sue Berning, 1 shot out of the lead behind Pam Barnett. Has a long putt. Little Sue Berning, 5'3½", 120 pounds. Patiently looking over this long putt. And wide and carrying by about 4 feet is Sue Berning, who, we'll tell you again, is 1 shot out of the lead for the U.S. Women's Open as we go now over to Chris Schenkel at the 18th.
All right, Frank, this is Kathy Ahern, playing out of Denton, Texas. Could get a shot back here on the par 4 18th hole, 360 yards long. She is 2 shots away from the leader. She still is 2 shots away, and she'll have a putt coming back of over 3 feet for her par 4 at the 72nd hole in the Ladies' Championship.
Chris, the last 2 putts, she's been quite strong, and I think she felt that she needed to make one of these birdies on either one of these holes, or both of them almost, have a chance, because she is a couple of shots back, and the other girls are playing very closely behind her. So she was trying exceptionally hard to make the birdies. So you have to give her credit for giving it a good try.
Sue Roberts is 20 over par, and she is lining up a putt of... Byron, I'll let you measure that putt.
Well, it's about 9 feet,
Okay.
Chris. And it's been fooling quite a few of the girls today and their caddies. The caddies are helping these girls line up the putts even more than they do on the men's circuit. It's a relatively straight putt, though. Most of them have been leaving a little short and just a little bit on the weak side, which is to the right.
For a par 4 at the 18th hole, Wingfoot. Oh, beautifully stroked. Distance and direction,
Right.
Pro.
Perfect. She played it just, had a great speed on it.
Incidentally, a young lady, a lady golfer that's been in the news, Jane Blaylock, has finished 72 holes of play, and she is in at 19 over par. On the right at the 15th hole, this is Susie Maxwell Berning for a par. So she's going to bogey that hole, and that drops her.
That was an expensive stroke right at this point of the game.
2 strokes back with her bogey. And now on the left, Kathy Ahern for her par 4 to remain 12 over. 2 shots away from the leader, Pam Barnett. Very well done. Kathy Ahern in after 72 holes with a very even score of 300 or 12 over. All right, there's more action at 15, and Frank and Dave are there.
We're looking up the fairway at 15 to a twosome. Coming up, Betsy Rawls, 4-time U.S. Open champion, playing along with Judy Rankin at the moment. Betsy Rawls, with a double bogey at 14, has gone to 19 over par. What a great champion. She won the Open, as I said, 4 times, 51, 53, again in 57, and again in 60. Betsy has had rounds of 77, 76, 74 on a Winged Foot course that is playing so long. Claude Harmon, the professional here at Winged Foot, said the course, while measured a little over 6,200 yards, is playing about 500 yards longer than that. So that is why you see these scores, so many of them, plus 10, plus 15, plus 20. Betsy Rawls, who won the Ladies U.S. Open here at Winged Foot in 1957, when Jackie Pung incorrectly signed a scorecard. Third in the all-time earnings list at over $260,000. And we move over to the 16th tee, and this is Sue Berning, who just bogeyed 15 to fall 2 shots off the lead of Pam Barnett. And she has hit her tee shot off to the left. Back to Betsy Rawls, now hitting her second shot into the short par 4 15th green. And she is up short. She'll have a birdie possibility from about 45 feet. Berning, as we told you, is in the left rough at 16. Judy Rankin, who bogeyed the 13th hole to fall 3 shots off the lead, is playing in the twosome with Betsy Rawls. Probably the tiniest gal on the tour. She's 5'3 1/2", 110 pounds. She has a kind of a difficult shot. She probably has line of sight to the pin, but she is in the rough, and this green is fairly flat. And if you go over the back of it, you can be in all kinds of trouble. It slopes off, and the ball will carry quite a ways over the green. About 135 to 138 yards out. Interesting little gal. At the age of 14, she won the Missouri Amateur Championship. The last couple of years, she hasn't missed winning money on the tour. Very consistent player. This is Judy Rankin. 13 over par. Pam Barnett leading at 10 over par. And coming out of that rough, Judy is on the green. She'll be about 50 feet away from the pin. And ABC's exclusive color coverage of the Women's Open continues after this message. On the 15th green, Judy Rankin, Betsy Rawls. You're looking at the water that guards the front of the green. As we move up this 330-yard par 4 hole, we'll see on the tee Pam Barnett, who has just struck her tee shot. She's on the left side of the fairway. Good condition to play this hole coming into the green. This is Betty Burfine. Betty, 2 shots off the lead of Pam Barnett. And the gallery likes that. As we pull back on the green, and Judy Rankin has just putted from about 50 feet away. She has left the ball about 5 feet from the hole. Judy Rankin at 13 over par. Marks the ball, Betsy Rawls. now away at about 45 to 50 feet. Betsy Rawls, almost synonymous with ladies golf. Phi Beta Kappa out of the University of Texas, and you talk to the lady golfers and they will tell you she applies that intelligence to this game. And Betsy will come up about 5 feet short. And Betsy will mark, Judy being away. Betsy, of course, a member of the Ladies Hall of Fame, was enshrined there in 1960. This for a par for Judy Rankin to remain 3 shots off the lead of Pam Barnett. Pam Barnett playing in the twosome, just behind Betsy and Judy. Pam Barnett, Betty Burfite out on the fairway. Judy won over $18,000 last year. 15th on the all-time tour money list. Make this from about 6 feet. And Judy picks up her par to remain. 3 shots off the lead. As we go quickly over to 16 and Bud Palmer.
And we're looking at Susie Berning, an unfortunate play here. She drove into the rough and hit the tree. She now lies 3. She's hitting her 4th shot. I'd say she's some, 35 yards away from the pin on this par 5. It plays for a par 4 as far as the men are concerned, 444 yards long, but mainly uphill. Susie Berning. And she's come up about 8 feet short. She needs that for her par here. Let's go back to Frank Gifford now on 15.
And we'll go out on the fairway at 15. This is Pam Barnett. She has a 2-shot lead over Susie Berning and Betty Burfine. Betty Burfine playing in her twosome. And, of course, Kathy Ahern is at 12 over par. Pam Barnett with rounds of 73, 76, and 75, about 145 yards out. Hitting her 2nd shot over the water to an elevated green here at 15. She has pulled it to the left, and it just stays short of the bunker, but it's going to be a very difficult stance for Pam Barnett. And now the 2nd shot of Betty Burfite. Betty has had quite a career. A couple of years ago, she was just about ready to give up the tour. As you see her out on the fairway, stepping it off. Gals usually using a little pine tree that's situated on the right for their distance to the green. And she would be about 125 yards out. And our advisor and colleague here on 15, Linda Kraft, says that the gals will use anything from a 7 to an 8 iron. Betty Burfine, 2 shots off the lead. And Betty has been given a drop. Sharon, you've played this course. You've played the 15. The thoughts of Betty Burfine?
Oh, Betty has been having a tremendous year this year. She, as you said, was very discouraged a few years ago, and I think part of her success was working with John Revolta in Palm Springs. She just made a miraculous transformation, and her confidence is increased, and her swing is a better, more stable swing. She's doing great this year.
Has it on the way, and she is in a very bad spot. She's gone off to the right. That's about 25 feet down to the right. I think she's long of a bunker that guards that area. But she will have a very difficult 3rd shot to get it closer at 15. And we'll go over to Bud Palmer now at 16.
And here is Susie Berning, just 2 strokes off the pace here. Needs this putt for her par here on the 16th par 5. It's about 8 feet long, as I mentioned. It's uphill, maybe almost straight, maybe a little left to right break. She was U.S. Open champion in 1968 and tied for second in 67. An amazing round here on Friday. She started with 9 straight fours, finished with a 79. She's parred this hole each time she's played it in the first 3 rounds. Susie Berning needs this to remain 2 strokes off the pace. Oh, and she goes for it boldly. A very fine putt by Susie Maxwell Berning to stay just 2 strokes off the lead, salvaging par. And from Mamaroneck, New York, this is the Women's Open. We'll return to more action in 1 minute.
Let me know when I can, because I can't see. Betty Burfeind, who hit her second shot off to the right of 15. She's long of the bunker that guards the right side. She is well down in the tall grass. As you can see, she is going down to her ball, and it's questionable whether she'll even be able to see the pin from down that far. And if we can, we'll try and call in Dave Marr, who is with the portable unit.
Well, she's got an almost impossible shot there to get it anywhere near the flag. It's and as you pointed out, Frank, she can't possibly see the flag from where she is. She'll have to take a mark on some tree or something behind the green, on the other side of the green, so that she'll have some idea which direction to go in. She'd be very fortunate to get a 4 here.
David, I pointed that out because I've been there. You do not see the flag from down there, and it will be very difficult for her to stop the ball. There is a risk of even going across the green into the bunker. We'll watch this third shot of Betty Burfeind, who is just 2 shots off the lead of Pam Barnett. Oh, and she has hit a super shot. Betty Burfeind has hit a sensational shot, David. Incredible. As we go quickly now to Chris Schenkel.
And now the most difficult par 3, the 17th, Susie Maxwell Berning, 2 shots off the lead. This is a 17th hole, par 3, 200 yards. This hot, humid day at Wingfoot. The applause and a very fine, almost hole-high shot on the par 3, 17th hole. Now back to the 15th green.
And we'll watch our leader, Pam Barnett, with a difficult stance, the ball resting just short of the bunker here at 15. Pam Barnett, the leader, at 10 over par. Came around yesterday in 75 and 3-putted 5 greens. And that difficult stance has thrown the third shot of Pam Barnett off. She has a putt now of about 18 feet to maintain her 2-shot lead over Susie Berning, Betty Burfeind, and Kathy Ahern. Pam Barnett, 5'5", 122 pounds. She is 7 years on the tour. Very attractive dresser. Putt will be just about straight in, if anything working just a little to the left. Pam Barnett makes her home in Charlotte, North Carolina. This little gal started playing golf when she was 3 years old. And she is very close to a U.S. Open championship. This for par to maintain her 2-shot lead. And it stays straight, and Pam Barnett will bogey here at 15 to go 11 over par as we go over to Bud Palmer.
And just hitting there is Judy Rankin. Her second shot here on the par 5 16th is coming up nicely, exactly where she wanted. She is 3 strokes off the pace, but this is a birdie hole, and she could pick up a stroke very easily here. Frank?
Betty Burfeind, who hit a sensational third shot here at 15, needs this putt of about 20 inches. And, of course, Pam Barnett tapped out for her bogey. This is for Betty Burfight's par here at 15. And a great 4 at 15 for Betty Burfight to remain one shot off the lead of Pam Barnett. And Betty Burfight moves over to 16. Amateurs and professionals alike vying for the biggest prize in women's golf, and we'll be back in a moment.
All right, at the 17th green, par 3 hole here at Winged Foot, this is for a birdie 2, and it would tie Susie Berning for the lead. Final round. Ladies open. Oh, there you have a tie, ladies and gentlemen. Pam Barnett and Susie Maxwell Berning, the 1968 Open champion. A 2 at 17, Pro.
Oh, that's a great 2. That 3 is great on that hole, much less 2.
All right, back to 16. Sharon Moran and Bud Palmer.
Okay there, Chris. There is Judy Rankin going out to her ball. She lies there in 2 on this par 5. She's about 35 yards away. And Sharon, what will the girls normally use here? A pitching wedge, sand wedge? What do they normally use?
Right. I would think that Judy would probably have a pitching wedge. It's not that much green to use a lower club like a 7-iron or something. So she'll probably use a wedge. And I don't know if she realizes, but it does run quite a bit at the pin. A lot of the girls have been going by. We'll see what type of shot she can do here.
Well, as I mentioned, she's part of these times she's played. In her rounds of 76, 75, and 76, she started 3 back, and she's now only 2 back. Very important. Oh, she might be long unless it holds up. No, it does roll by.
Yeah, that's that problem.
And she's going to have a tough one. She's going to be about 18 feet here for her birdie. And this is the final round of the Women's Open Golf Championship from Winged Foot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York. Action continues in a moment. You're looking at the clubhouse here at Winged Foot right now, and now we switch to Judy Rankin, who has about I said 18, maybe a 16-foot putt here for her birdie to go into a 3-way tie. But now to put her, rather, if she gets the birdie, it'll put her 1 stroke off the pace. This is a fairly straight putt. Looks left to right. She played in her first Open when she was 14 years old, was a low amateur when she was only 15. Right number is Judy Torlumpke. Oh! Just misses. That'll give her her par and keep her 2 strokes off the pace. She went boldly for it on that chip. She's playing along with Betsy Rawls. And there's a good close-up of Judy. And now we go back on the fairway to our leaders, which are Pam Barnett and Betty Burfight. And Dave's out there. What's going on, Dave?
Well, she had driven into the left rough into an area that was evidently casual water and got it dropped. So I think she's all right now as far as making a 5 at this par 5 hole.
Thanks, Dave. She looks in pretty good shape. She's clear. That's where Susie Berning was, hit the tree, but I think Pam gets out very nicely. In a tie here with Susie Maxwell Berning. Now we switch over to the little tiger here, Betty Burfight. It's amazing how her game has improved this year, isn't it, Sharon?
It sure is. Betty is not really a real big girl, but she is probably one of the top 3 in the distance on the tour. It's amazing. She has learned to develop a great deal of club head speed through, and if you watch the swing, you'll see how she really continues a full follow through.
Well, she's having a great year. She's won 2 tournaments, hadn't won before this year, third twice, and that's in 4 tournaments, has won $27,000. Betty Burfight on the 16th.
Beautiful shot. Get out of there. Go.
And you hear a few people down in the crowd yelling about the shot. And she's just off on the side. She's in good shape, though. I'd say about 45 to 50 yards away from the pin at most for Betty Burfeind. And she birdied this hole in her first round. If she birdies here, she'll go into a tie. We'll have a three-way tie for first place. Now let's go to Chris Schenkel.
Okay, and Susie Maxwell Berning with a birdie at the 17th hole is now about ready to hit her second shot at the 360-yard 18th hole, or the 72nd. She is tied for the lead, 11 over, with Pam Barnett.
Chris, we saw this young lady win at Musellum Springs up at Reading, Pennsylvania. She's going with a wood. That means that she's got a good long shot, probably pretty close to 185 yards into this narrow opening in front of this green, so she must play a good one.
The young lady who attended Oklahoma City University on a scholarship and played on the men's golf team.
She played a very good-looking shot if it gets here, and it's going to get here. As a matter of fact, it's very good.
All right.
35, 40 feet
Susie
short.
Maxwell Berning on in regulation on the par 4 18th. Now at the 17th tee, Judy Terlumke Rankin. This is a par 3 at Wingfoot, 200 yards in length.
Just on the front of the green.
Now back to Bud Palmer.
And there we're seeing diminutive 5'5" Pam Barnett with her third shot here. She's in good position out about 125 to 30 yards from the pin. Co-leader along with Susie Berning. And it's to the left of the pin, draws back over that hump, so she'll have a good long putt. I'd say 35 to 40 feet here. She's on in 3, though, so she should get down in 2, maybe a birdie here. She's playing along with Betty Burfeind, who we're watching right now. And by the way, the leader in the clubhouse is Kathy Athern, shot a very fine 70 at 12 over at 300. At 304, Mickey Ryder shot a 70, and Jane Booth, the amateur, shot a 72. At 305, Carol Mann had a very fine 71, and Carol Semple, an amateur, had a 73 there, and a 305, along with Jocelyn Bourassa. And while we're waiting here, what do you say we take a look at Judy Rankin's tee shot here? Byron, how about analyzing this swing?
Okay. You notice that one thing that she does here, a little different from a lot of the men pros, she brings the club very much inside. She has her left hand over in a very strong position. Now she's pushing the club way away, and then it comes down very low here, and then she comes up over the top just slightly here. And then as she moves through, she really pulls her left side out of the way very quickly at this position, because the face of the club is closed at this point because of her strong left hand, and then this opens the face of the club right up, allowing her to meet the ball very squarely.
Thank you very much, Byron. And now we go to Betty Burfeind. This is her third Open. She's never been in the top 10. As I mentioned, she is about 45 yards away. Stop ball. And rolls to the back edge of the green, just on the fringe. And she's about 23 feet away from the flag. And you are watching the United States Golf Association's Championship for Women's Golf. And we'll return to action in 1 minute. Here's our co-leader, Pam Barnett, trying for a birdie putt of about 45 feet here. She had 5 3-putt greens yesterday. Why are the girls having so many problems here like Pam, do you think, Sharon?
Well, I talked to Pam a little earlier, and she said her problem was actually judging the speed of the greens. And I think, having played them, I think there's, whoops, it's not looking too bad right there.
And she'll have one of those.
She'll be,
what do you girls call those?
Oh, well, they're just kind of knee knockers, too, particularly when you're in the position Pam is right now.
Yes, she is the co-leader right here. And now let's go to 18 and Chris Schenkel.
And we have the co-leader at the 72nd hole, Susie Maxwell Berning, with her caddy lining up about a 45-foot putt for a birdie 3, which could give her the lead on the final hole.
Chris, the big thing that she has to encounter here is she has to go over a slight roll or a slight hump in the green. And the speed is a very important thing. And a lot of the girls have left this ball considerably short today.
This is Betty Burfine at the 16th on the left, while Susie Berning is on the right. Burfine, if she makes this putt on the left, could tie for the lead. This lady could take the lead with this putt. She shares it right now with Pam Barnett, while Betty Burfine on the left went way beyond the hole. While it was a nice up putt for Susie Maxwell Berning, Byron.
Right, it was an excellent putt from that distance. Anytime you get a putt from that distance up where you don't have to work too hard on the next putt, why, you consider yourself doing quite well.
Let's go back out to 16.
Well, right you are, Chris. She went way by the hole. She's about 12 feet away, had 23 feet to go. It was downhill. And Susie certainly is in an advantageous position now, isn't she, Sharon?
Oh, yes, you know, Susie is in on 18, and 17 and 18 are both very difficult holes, and Pam still has those ahead of her.
And meanwhile, Betty Burfine here has to sink this for her par to remain one stroke off the lead. Just broke off at the hole. She bogeys here, a very tough break. She birdied it the first day, parred it the next 2 days, and now she picks up a bogey, and that'll drop her 2 strokes off the lead with those 2 tough holes to play. As you can see with her way she's just looking, she's very downcast about getting that bogey. Now, here's Pam Barnett, our co-leader, with Susie Berning, has to sink this one to remain in a tie for the lead. As we mentioned, she's been having problems with her putting, but certainly not her driving. She's only missed 4 fairways in the first 54 holes. This is her 8th Open. First was as an amateur. On the left is Susie Berning. Both these girls, both for pars. Barnett gets hers, and let's see what Susie Berning does. And they both get them to remain in a lead. You saw our co-leaders there, Susie Berning and Pam Barnett, both 11 over par. But Susie has finished, and Pam has 2 difficult holes still to go, 17 and 18. In the final round of the Women's Open Golf Championship from Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York, will continue in a moment.
This is the way it stands in the 20th United States Women's Open. Pam Barnett, her tee shot, being tied for the lead with Susie Maxwell Berning. Moments ago, here's the tee shot. At the 17th hole, the par 3 here at Wingfoot, tied at 11 over. And it is on the green. Now, you'll recall her co-leader, who has finished 72 holes, birdied 17 and parred 18. Betty Burfine's tee shot at the par 3 17th, and with the wood on this 200-yard hole. Short of the green, Betty Burfine. In the Open Championship, Jane Bastoncherry Booth is the low amateur here in this championship at 16 over, and one of the executive committee members of the USGA, Bud Semple's daughter, Carol, in at 304 or 17 over. So she is second low amateur. But for the championship, Susie Maxwell Berning and Pam Barnett, with Berning in the clubhouse at 11 over, and Barnett is on the par 3 17th hole. At 12 over, Kathy Ahern at 12 over had a 2 under par 70 today, Byron, and that's really shooting a great round here.
It really is. That's a tremendous round here. And speaking of tremendous, this drive that Judy Rankin just hit on this 18th hole, that's the longest drive I've seen on this hole today. She'll have some sort of a medium to short iron to play to this hole, and being 2 shots off the lead, she would certainly like to get a birdie.
I'll never forget the first time I saw her hit a tee shot, and that was at Hazeltine in Chaska, Minnesota in the Open, and I couldn't believe my eyes. She crushed one.
And she can really generate a tremendous amount of power.
Sort of a nice-looking girl, too, isn't she?
Right. Of course, the only chance she would have to tie for the tournament would be hold out of 2 because she's 2 behind of Susie Berning that's already finished in front of her at 11 under, and she's 2 over. So 13, which means two shots back.
Well, there have been eagles made.
Watch how she moves her left side out of the way now, Chris, as she comes into the ball. She really moves it out quickly.
Oh, lovely.
And it's a beautiful-looking shot. Look, what a marvelous shot. Well, she almost got that 2 we're talking about.
She almost made that deuce. ABC's exclusive color coverage of the Women's Open will continue after this message. We're at the par 3 17th. Betty Burfine has chipped up, and she'll be have her 3rd stroke here on the 17th hole, while the co-leader, Pam Barnett, failed to make the green. She's in the, a little long, but she'll know how to handle this because these ladies are great chippers, aren't they?
Yes, they are, Chris, but she has a little difficult position because you can see from this angle she has to pitch up over a little mound on this little small green, so she must hit this ball very crisply because she has to pitch up over the mound, and then it must have some spin on it. But the pin is cut clear in the back part of the green, so she has quite a little ways to go, but see, she pitched up over that mound, and stopped up rather well, but she has a very difficult putt left because she's not happy with it. It's the time that we surely don't like to have to make at this stage of the game because they're hard enough to make any time, but when you get down to the point where you're coming in, and she knows now that Susie's in, and she already knows what she's finished with, that she must finish par to tie, and this, when you're sitting with a putt like this, you have to remember to breathe. First thing you know, you're holding your breath. And this is an important thing out there for these champions is learn how to breathe, to keep on breathing, because if you start holding your breath, then you become more nervous. Your heart picks up beats, and then that makes you more nervous.
I have that trouble all the time.
Now then, Betty has this little putt here. I say little. It's certainly, I'd hate to have to make it, but at this point, but she's putting for her par 3. She's a little short of the green, and this 17th has been very difficult. It appears as though it might go slightly to her left, but it's pretty straight.
That's
par
Betty
3.
Burfine at 17.
It did. Went down a little to the left.
So that will put her 14 over. With her back to us in the lemon shirt, that is Pam Barnett, the co-leader. But she has a tough putt to remain co-leader.
Yeah, she's held on remarkably well, Chris, after bogeying 8, 9, and 10.
Right.
Then she settled down and has played very well from there here. And so we'll just have to wait and see what she does with this. She's been putting well.
She started out 8 over today. And she got it down to 6 once. On the left here at 18, that is Judy Terlumke-Rankin. This is for a birdie 3 after a nifty second shot with an iron. This could tie her for second with Kathy Ahern. On the right, Pam Barnett for a par at 17. Oh, lovely. Beautiful birdie 3 for Judy Rankin. She is tied for second at 12 over. To remain tied for the lead, on the right, Pam Barnett. Oh, Susie Maxwell Berning is the leader. So, this young lady, who is noted for her wigs on the tour, now has, that's not just a gimme either.
No, it sure isn't. That's just what I was thinking, Chris. Especially when you have lost one like this, and now you're a little upset. You know you've lost the lead, so you must be careful about your thoughts. Now then, you must try to think about just this putt, because now she must make this putt and then a birdie to tie.
Right. There's a bogey 4 at the 17th hole as Pamela Barnett loses a portion of the lead, and now with the hole to play, trails by 1 shot. And the hole that this young lady has to play is a fine finishing hole, 360 yards long for these ladies, and it requires a long tee shot in order to get that second on the green and close. So her work is really cut out. She's got to birdie the hole to tie. And in the event there is a tie following regulation play, we'll be on the air tomorrow afternoon, Monday, 4:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
Chris, I tell you, having been in golf a long time, it's the most difficult thing to birdie the last hole after having lost a lead and then bogeyed the last hole. But she has a lot of courage, and she's a good player, so we'll just have to wait and see what she does, because they have been reaching this green now. There's no wind. It's nice and calm and not too hot, the overcast sky, so she should reach this green with a drive and an iron if she can hit a good drive, as she normally does. A little slight girl, but hits the ball very, very long, very solidly for her stature.
At the moment, a three-way tie for second. Sort of a nice arc. Sharon Moran, you're out there on the course at 16. You might have an observation about Pam Barnett.
You notice that last shot that Pam hit. She is a small girl, as you said, but she really moves her legs well, and I think this is where she gets a lot of her power. And obviously this week she's been playing her wood shots very well.
How did you like Betty Burfine's tee shot, Sharon?
The one she just
swing, anyway.
hit the swing, right. I couldn't see where it landed.
All right,
Betty,
there it is at the 18th hole. We have Betty Burfine, the final twosome in this 20th Ladies Open for the National Championship, with Susie Maxwell Berning in the clubhouse at 11 over par. 6,226 yards. The actual measurement has been playing longer, and it plays to par 72. From Mamaroneck, New York, this is the Women's Open Golf Championship. We'll return to the action after this message. Well, this week here on ABC, the pressure is on the ladies, and in particular Pam Barnett, at whom you're looking, who lost the share of the lead at the 17th with a bogey 4. She's now moving to her second shot here on the par 4 18th hole at the Wingfoot Golf Club in Mamaroneck, New York. Ed Schneider, Ed Vaughn, and all the folks here at Wingfoot have done a great job hosting again the Ladies Open. When it was previously here, Betsy Rawls won it after Jackie Pung signed an incorrect scorecard. And incidentally, Hawaii's Jackie Pung is here observing. Well, now, Byron, little Pam really cranked one out there and has a good lie.
Yes, she has a good lie, and then also she can reach the green, I think, easily enough with an iron, and Betty has a little bit of an uphill lie, which enables you to hit the ball nicely high into the air. So that's what you need to play to this green. Seems as though the Pam is away. Appears she's going to shoot first. This may be one of the most important shots she's ever hit.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to stay down and really hit through this ball to be sure that it gets up to the hole. Probably about a 4 or 5 iron from there.
She has one victory to her credit last year. It's low.
It might roll up quite good, though, Chris. No, the grass caught it. It's going to stop just short of the green, so she has a very difficult pitch to tie.
That's right. She would have to pitch it up and hole it here on the par 4 18th to tie. Meanwhile, Susie Maxwell Berning finished and watching.
Actually, Chris, I'm sure that she didn't hit that shot correctly because it was much too low for an iron shot from the lie she had. I'm sure that she caught the ball, what we say, a little bit thin.
Betty Burfine at 14 over, hitting her second shot now here on the par 4 18th hole.
Nice and high, but pulled just slightly to the golfer's left, just hole high.
Yes, all this at Wingfoot. The Women's Open Golf Championship from Mamaroneck, New York, and Westchester County will continue after this message. Before we get back to golf action, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that next week, ABC Sports will bring you coverage of United States track and field athletes in their attempt to qualify for the Summer Olympics in Munich. Eugene, Oregon is the site of this year's trials, and they're going on this weekend and next. On ABC's Wide World of Sports this coming Saturday, we'll show you the highlights of this week's trials. You'll see Jim Ryan's failure to qualify in the 800 meters for the second straight time. He was not the only casualty in that event, though, as Juris Lusens, Tom van Ruden, and Mark Winsenreed also failed to qualify. The field was fast, though, as Dave Wattle set an American record in the 800 meters of 1 minute, 44 and 3/10 seconds. A new American record was also set in the triple jump by Dave Smith, leaping 56 feet. And the 100-meter world record was tied by Eddie Hart and Ray Robinson. So, after only 2 running events yesterday, 2 new records were set. Also favored, Jay Sylvester won the discus with a toss of 211 feet 2 inches. On Monday night, July 10th, at 8 Eastern and Pacific Time, 7 Central Time, ABC Sports will present a 90-minute special summary of the track and field Olympic trials. Yes, all of America's best athletes attempting to qualify for Munich. Jim Ryan in the 1,500 meters, Bob Seagren in the pole vault, and many more. So, be sure to join us next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports at 5 Eastern and Pacific Time, 4 Central, and then on the following Monday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central, for complete coverage of the United States track and field Olympic trials. Well, you heard us on videotape. That was Pam Barnett, who chipped her 3rd shot, and what she had to do was hole it in order to tie. So we have Susie Maxwell Berning Byron winning her 2nd United States Women's Open Championship.
Yes, she played very well, and she played especially good coming in today, the last few holes, while the other girls, she was a little bit earlier than they were, and this proved a little bit too much for Pam, who has played quite well all week, though.
So for Susie Maxwell Berning, 79, a 73, a 76, and a 1 under par 71 today as we look at Betty Burfine. This is her 3rd stroke on the par 4 18th.
And it was a good one from where she was. Long putt, putt up real close to the hole. Almost assures her of a par 4, leaving her at 14 over par.
Incidentally, Mickey Wright had a 71 today, finishing at 16 over. Carol Mann a 71, 17 over. And now it's Pam Barnett who had the lead, Byron, but lost it at the 17th and couldn't birdie 18.
Chris, money-wise, this is still a very important putt for Pam because she's tied with 2 other players at 12 over par. If she were to miss this, she'd lose these 2 places where Kathy Ahern's at 12 and Judy Rank's at 12. So she needs this to stay 12. She uses the cross-handed putting method with the left hand below the right. Keeps the putter very low, but she needs this putt rather badly to save a few dollars now, being she hasn't won the championship.
Sweating that one out here at the 18th. Pam Barnett, who remains in a 3-way tie with Kathy Ahern and Judy Terlumke-Rankin. Betty Burfine lining up her putt for a par 4. Gives us an opportunity to thank the USGA, P.J. Boatwright, Jim and Lois Gaquin, and Bob Summers, Fred Corcoran, the honorary chairman, and several co-chairmen who are members here. Nice folks like Rune Arledge, Joe Garagiola, Jack Whitaker, and a special thanks to Ed Basso. Betty Burfine, finishing here at 14 over par. She started out today at 11 over, so she had a round of 75 here today. And you know, our engineering crew, Byron, following Hurricane Agnes, they found their equipment sort of either soaked or some of it underwater. So we got to thank a guy in particular named Joe Mirabella and the New York Telephone Company who found their equipment underwater. Practically had to rebuild it in order to get this telecast on the air today. All right, another member here at Wingfoot is down at the 18th green, Frank Gifford.
Thank you, Chris, and the new Ladies Open champion. Susan, you must be happy.
Thank you. I just really can't believe it. I just tried to play my best today, and I feel sorry for Pam. I really thought she could pull it through, but, I played well, and I'm kind of excited.
Is it sweeter the second time around? This, of course, your 2nd title.
I think so. Probably the way I did it this year is a little bit more exciting than the last time.
How about 17? Now, that must have been an incredible feeling when you dropped that putt for your birdie. And then, of course, Pam really lost the tie when she bogeyed there.
Yeah, oh, that's a tough hole. Very tough hole. And I bet there weren't 2 birdies made all week. I really thought I lost all chances when I 3-putted 15. But I made a good 5 at 16, kind of scrambled around. And then the 17th hole was the turning point, I really think. And that, I think people would say that's going to be the turning point for any tournament here on this course.
It's really a tough hole. Tell me, Susan, how did the course play? I mean, there's been so much talk about the weather, but did it really play that incredibly long? Did you find it that way?
It played extremely long. The ball was just plugged. I probably hit my driver 220, and the ball was just plugged. Today we got a little bit of roll, but I hit such a high ball that I don't get much roll anyhow. And the course did play very long for us, very long.
I'm going to ask you something else. I think it's, 5, 3.5. How in the world do you get into that ball like you get into it?
Oh, it's a matter of time and coordination.
What are your plans from here now? Will you continue on the tour? And, of course...
I plan on playing a few tournaments here and there. Not a full-time schedule because I am married and have a daughter, and we like to spend some time up at Incline Village. And so I just plan on playing part-time.
Let's go back to when you won the Open, I believe 68.
Right.
How would you make that comparison, the type of play between the gals then and the type of play now, Susie?
Well, I think the girls are playing better golf now, and we've got more girls in contention for tournaments. And it's not just one girl leading all the way through. There's 5 or 6 girls, and they're all playing better golf, and I think you're going to see great scores coming in the future.
Well, I know one thing that you've dispelled, not only you, but all the lady golfers, being guests here at Winged Foot and, of course, in New York, is sort of the myth of the lady golfer. I mean, I've never seen so many charming and attractive ladies in all my life. And first of all, I want to say that. And second, Susan, congratulations on your second U.S. Open championship.
Thank you. I'm very thrilled.
And I know Robin will be happy.
Yes, you will.
Let's go back now to Chris Schenkel.
All right, thank you very much, Frank. And there you see the very stately clubhouse here at Winged Foot, where Craig Wood, the late Craig Wood, was once the professional, the current professional, and has been since 1945. Claude Harmon and Byron Like You, a Masters champion. And the late, great Tommy Armour was a member here beginning in 1951. And, well, I'm sorry he's gone, but I did have the pleasure of playing the last round of golf that he played with him right here at Winged Foot.
Well, this club has a tremendous amount of golf history behind it, and all of it's great. It really is a magnificent golf area. They have 2 great courses here. Really, they think the East course is the easiest, but it's about as tough as the other.
The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Coverage of the final round of the Women's Open was produced by Fred Hutchison. Directed by Mac Hemian. Technical Director Walt Kubelis. This Saturday at 5 Eastern and Pacific, 4 Central on ABC's Wide World of Sports, you'll see the men's Olympic track and field trials from Eugene, Oregon. And we'll keep you posted on the latest developments at the World's Chess Championships from Reykjavik, Iceland, between Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky. That's next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Once again, another great champion has emerged on a challenging course at Winged Foot. The final results, Susie Maxwell Berning, a 299 72-hole total, or 11 over. Now this is Chris Schenkel, along with Frank Gifford, Bud Palmer, Byron Nelson, Dave Marr, and Sharon Moran, saying so long from Winged Foot in Mamaroneck, New York. The final round of the Women's Open Golf Championship has been brought to you by Chevrolet, building a better way to see the USA. By Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Michelob. Michelob, it's always an unexpected pleasure. So surprise people. Serve Michelob. And by First National City Traveler's Checks. The way to protect your money whenever you travel, available at banks everywhere. Air travel arranged through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. This has been an ABC Sports presentation.